Jinesh Gopani joins us, Head Equities with Axis Mutual Fund. Jinesh, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Why are we suddenly underperforming global markets? I mean, the handover from Dow on a daily basis is absolutely spotless. And in India, I can't say the same.
Yeah, I think if you take the emerging market, money is moving out from India to the other destinations, maybe because of the valuations are more attractive in the other emerging markets as compared to the India. Last time when I had come on your channel, I had said that earnings have to catch up. If earnings don't catch up, ultimately it will become difficult for market to move on beyond a point. Sheer liquidity driving the market for last 3 to 4 months, and that too only the domestic liquidity will not go well if earnings don't catch up. And as you see, because of the GST, because of various massive resets happening in the economy, I think again Q2 will be more truncated. You will not have overall good numbers across the sectors, across the companies, and again you go into December where you will have again base which is low, so the numbers will look good, but then it's not a real indicator of how things are moving out. Also, if you see some macro factors are slightly against our favor for the time being, be it oil or rupee depreciation, also the GDP slowdown because of various factors. I think all this is sort of taken negatively by the FIIs, and they have been continuous seller in the market for last 3 months, and I think they have more options to go into the other emerging markets than India.
Jinesh, how are you looking at your weightages in the market right now? Has there been any turn in weightages in terms of any place where you were overweight and then you scaled down a bit, booked profits, or a sector where you've been underweight and you believe that there is reason for value in those segments? So has there been any churn in your weight allocation to various sectors through the course of the last 3 months?
So not really, since we are bottom-up stock pickers. We are very careful whenever we buy stock in our portfolio, and wherever we see growth, we would like to hold on to those stories. So the portfolio which we have built in, we are pretty happy with the way growth momentums are there in those stories. So as of now, not major churn. We have been underweight on technology and pharma for some time. And I said again on last time on your channel that we will be nibbling around if we feel that there is some growth momentum opportunities coming back in those sectors.
Jinesh, hi, good morning. Just reacting to the news that the government has decided to lower fuel prices and cut their excise duty now, both in petrol as well as diesel. Do you think this is going to boost much investor confidence? Because, it is sort of I'm not getting the word exactly, but this really sort of brings in the thought that the government is now not going to intervene on the daily price mechanism. Do you think this is a big relief, or at best just a minute positive? Because we were chatting with the IOC spokesperson and he said that any excise duty change, be it a cut or a hike, is going to pass on fully to the consumer.
So it is good from the consumer point of view, Indian citizen point of view, because even at $54, you have the prices which are similar to what the prices were around $100, and I think most of the channels have been highlighting that. So obviously, you have to bring some relief at the ground level, especially when there is some kind of a slowness in the economy. So to that extent, it is good, but whether it's a big relief, we will have to wait and see.
Have you looked at buying insurance in your portfolios?
So you have interesting companies getting listed. They are large companies, very good run companies, good corporate governances. So obviously, we would be looking into some of the stories to play.
Just reacting to the news that Natco Pharma is in focus this morning, Jinesh, and I'm not, asking you to get stock specific at all over here, don't get me wrong. Mylan's got that big US FDA nod for generic. How is it that you approach pharmaceuticals right now? Because the tide from that black cloud now seems to be turning towards a grey cloud, if not completely blue sky zone for pharma. Do you think it definitely makes sense to get a little stock specific now when it comes to pharmaceuticals? At least that's the opinion that we've been getting in. Do a very case-by-case kind of investment when it comes to pharma. Don't take a blanket call on the sector. Things are still not okay, but at the same time, it's almost amber light, not red anymore.
Yeah, so there has been some improvement. If you see few of the companies who have been able to get through US FDA clearance, and now the recent news of getting approval. It's a big approval, complex generic, a big approval now. So I think it's a very stock specific move. You have to be very, very cagey about what you are buying into pharma. And as I had said again on the last channel, that pharma has become more of a stock specific kind of a story, because different companies have different set of problems and different set of business models to run. And so if you really want to play that game, it is very, very stock specific rather than going all out into all the pharma stocks.
How are you looking at the consumer theme this festive season? Where would you be placing your bets, Jinesh, to capture the upside?
So again, as I said, all numbers will not be great. Some of the companies would be in low single digit growth rates, while some might give you those 10-15% kind of growth. So we'll have to see how numbers come by. However, channel checks suggest that there has been some kind of good restocking which has happened in some of the sectors in the consumer staple space, and that is where we are seeing even from the media or from the newspapers, the traction has been good. So again, it will be you have to be careful on the stock specific side, on the consumer side, because as I said, still that economy is not full throttle in terms of giving you growth rates across the sectors and the subsectors of the domestic economy.
What could be the next trigger for this market? Earnings are not going to come back in a hurry in this quarter. I don't think next quarter also we can make a great case. This market was riding liquidity, and liquidity also now is looking slightly shaky to me, because FIIs are selling and DIs are buying. On top of that, you got influx of new IPOs, and then government paper would be thrown at us. So do you think for next 2 quarters, 3 quarters, we may just not go anywhere?
So that is what we expect. The next 2-3 months are critical. Volatility will continue, and I think GST implementation by November, you will really see how the GST implementation has gone by. See, it's one of the biggest reform. It's a massive reset. You need smooth transition. It is like ease of doing business. So really, you want to see GST getting through smoothly and at faster rate. However, if GST implementation takes a back seat, or maybe if there are more glitches in the system and people are not able to tally their tax credits, then I think there might be some kind of a chaos, and then there can be sort of a 3 to 6 month kind of a so I would say a problem among the businesses how to tackle this issue. So that could be one of the big trigger if GST implementation is done smoothly and at a faster pace. I think the second best trigger would be the Gujarat election, which will decide the fate of the popularity of the government. And so really, if that comes through, then there shouldn't be an issue. So you are moving into 3 state elections, Gujarat, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh in next calendar year, and then you go into national elections in 2019. So you have lot of news flows, lot of volatility to stay here, and so it will be very difficult for market to move on from here on if few of the factors which I just alluded doesn't come by. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Right. Jinesh, finally, what are you making of some of the leverage companies that are going through the deleverage route? Do you see an opportunity there? Have you evaluated some of those names, or is that a no-go zone?
I think it is better to play than corporate banks story rather than playing those leverage plays, because again you have different set of problems across the companies. We'll have to see how this IBC code really gets implemented, how the NCLT auctions goes by, who is a new buyer to the defunct company, whether it's the same promoter who are able to buy them at 50-60% haircut, or there are new good players coming into the system. So jury is out. We don't know how. Let's see one or two cases, the big cases, how they go by, and that will really decide the fate of this entire leverage companies. And I think it is better to play corporate banks than playing those individual companies.
Okay, Jinesh, good speaking with you. Thanks much for taking the time out and joining in today. That's the view from Axis Mutual Fund, Jinesh Gopani with his thoughts on the markets.
Pleasure.